Welcome. My name is Lauren, and today we are going to have a quiet talk. The topic today is breaking free from the mind, a journey through cognitive diffusion and fusion. Your ability to control your mind, your ability to separate self from thought, separate self from feeling. When we learn to do this, when we learn the skill of separation, we find greater capacity for joy and peace. This is going to be a quiet talk which will evolve into meditation. I'm going to put some resources on my website, ostrowskifenton.com, if you would like to learn a little more about this topic. Decide where you are going to listen to this content. It could be seated or lying down. Wear comfortable clothing. And when you're ready, let us start. Sit down or lie down comfortably and we will begin. Welcome again, everyone. Today we're going to embark on a gentle, calming journey together, exploring the concepts of cognitive fusion and cognitive diffusion. These are powerful ideas, profound ideas, that can help you manage intrusive thoughts and overthinking. As we dive in, I invite you to be comfortable. Move around slightly so that you find that sweet spot of comfort. Allow your body to settle in, accepting where you are right now. How you are right now is the product of how you have internalized prior moments. Understanding intrusive thought. Let's begin by reflecting on what intrusive thoughts are. These are those thoughts we are all prone to, each of us. These are those thoughts, those unwelcome, often distressing thoughts that seem to appear from nowhere. They just rise up and affect us. They may involve fear, doubt, possibly thoughts of imposter syndrome, or memories. These fears, doubts, memories, issues tend to disrupt our pace. The first step here is recognizing these thoughts, identifying these thoughts. These thoughts, these beliefs, these feelings can create a sense of anxiety and affect our daily lives in ways we may not even realize. They can be deep seated patterns that deeply, profoundly affect us. These patterns can be so familiar to us that we are not aware that they occur and repeat, or the environment, how they repeat. By naming these thoughts, we start to take back our power. Let's take several moments of breath, relaxing your body, contemplating, naming these intrusive thoughts, naming the overthinking. Breathe. Gently lengthen each breath without expectation. A gentle process. The nature of overthinking. Relax your body, arms, legs, feet, hands, allowing the process, allowing the way your body chooses to relax in this moment. Arms, legs, face, head, shoulders. Now let's gently explore the nature of overthinking, rumination. Overthinking often leads us into a cycle of worry. Imagine a washing machine. Imagine that you can see into a washing machine and you see the agitation, the washing moving this way and that way and this way and that way. This is like the cycle of worry, and we are each prone to this agitation, the washing machine type of agitation, where we can fixate on a particular thought or a pattern of thinking, where we may dwell on our thoughts excessively, too much. Come back to the body now, relax, release. Fingers, toes, soles of your feet, palms, wrists, ankles, lower legs, lower arms, each shoulder, let go. Excessive thinking can blur the line between healthy reflection and somewhat harmful rumination. It can be balanced, it can be healthy to reflect, review, unpack a past memory in order that we may grow in wisdom, learn, develop perspective. This is different to excessive, obsessive fixation. If we are able to reflect in a healthy way, review and learn, this can be helpful, productive. If we find the washing machine type agitation this way and that aggressive fixation, if we find ourselves repeating relentlessly particular thoughts, we can ask ourselves, how do I benefit from this pattern of thinking? How many times am I repeating these thoughts? Am I able to look down upon these thoughts with perspective? Am I able to calmly look at these thoughts? Am I the spectator of the thoughts? Bring your mind now back to the body. Relax arms, relax legs, feet, toes, fingers. Excessive thinking can blur the line between healthy reflection and harmful rumination, leaving us feeling stuck, attached, bonded to the thought like glue. Acknowledging when our thoughts begin to spiral is crucial to start to see the waterfall of rumination, to be able to recognize the start button in that washing machine and choose to press stop. Breathe. Gently ask your body to slow down its pattern of breathing, your pattern of breathing. Cognitive fusion through thinking. I'm going to share a little story with you to illustrate cognitive fusion and cognitive diffusion. Imagine a young woman named, let's call her Sarah. One day Sarah had a thought while walking in the park. It was a beautiful day. Sarah is walking and Sarah has a thought. What if I fail? What if I fail in my job? At that moment, Sarah feels a wave, a sudden wave of anxiety wash over her. Sarah spirals into a cycle of worry. The washing machine's start button is pressed. The agitation back and forth commences. Sarah starts replaying past mistakes to validate and support these thoughts. Sarah almost becomes the puppet to the thought, and the thought pulls the strings. The thought becomes the puppeteer. Sarah spirals into a downward spiral of worry, replaying past mistakes and imagining, visualizing all the various ways she could fail. This is cognitive fusion. When Sarah becomes entangled in her thoughts, believing them to be true and part of her identity, the thought and the person become fused, glued together. This is cognitive fusion. The inability to separate. And with cognitive fusion, there is a validating. The person starts reaching, searching, and justifying other experiences as validating this flawed pattern of thinking. Sarah starts to see herself as a failure, consumed by the story she tells herself, the story her mind is telling her. She feels trapped, unable to enjoy her walk, in the park or focus on anything else. Sarah becomes fixated. The washing machine is agitating. The washing, the thoughts go this way and that way. Bring your mind back to your body now. Relax your lower arms. Release your lower legs. Lower legs, lower arms. Lengthen your spine. Your whole spine, complete spine. Relax your back. Breathe now. Several breaths. Let's look at cognitive diffusion now. Let's consider, let's imagine what happens. What happens when Sarah learns about cognitive diffusion? A friend of Sarah introduces Sarah to a simple technique. The technique is, when you have a thought, try to observe it differently. Try to see thought differently. One afternoon, Sarah remembers this advice while walking in that same beautiful park. When she thinks, what if I fail? What if I fail at my job? She decides to label it as just a thought. This is just a thought. It is separate to the person. Just that ability to separate the thought from the person is a major step. From there, we can start to consider that it is the I, the self, that thinks, that chooses the thought. The choosing of thought is a complex experience, a complex understanding. However, that aside, the first step is to see the separation. To be the eagle looking down upon the thought. The thought is on the ground, all small and ant-like. This ability to see the thought as separate is the off button in that agitating washing machine. Now, attempt to slow your body down. Consider your breathing as separate to you. Gently lengthen the breath. Instead of getting lost in worry, in thought, imagine taking a step back. Sarah decides to take a step back. Sarah imagines thoughts as leaves floating down a stream. And Sarah becomes the observer of the leaves. For a moment, let's imagine leaves. These leaves are our thoughts, and we can choose to watch the leaves float away. Sarah imagines the thought as a leaf floating down a stream. Sarah watches the leaf drift away, realizing it doesn't define her. The thought is not her. The thought is a creation of her mind. This is cognitive diffusion, creating space between the person and the thought. Sarah and her thoughts. You and your thoughts. Allowing you to observe thought without judgment. It's merely thoughts. It's merely thinking. Thinking is done by the self. We learn how to think, and we can learn different ways of thinking. It starts with separation. Relax, relax, release the body. Tips of the fingers, tips of the toes, base of the spine. Gently, kindly ask your body to relax more deeply. See yourself as separate to your body. Imagine that you are standing and you have the ability to look down upon your physical self. You see any possible areas of tension, any blockages in the body, and you invite your body to let go. Let go. Spend several breaths now looking down upon your body, imagining this process, and ask your body to let go. An essential part of this journey is recognizing and identifying, naming each thought separately. Remember that story about Rumpelstiltskin. When his name was called out, he lost his power. When we name something, it can take away the mystique. It disempowers that object. It's when something is nameless that it seems to have untold power. Name it. Look down upon it. When you label your thoughts as just thoughts, you create a space between you and the thought that allows you to observe thought without judgment, without expectation. You are merely the observer. This separation can help diminish the emotional weight, the emotions, the feelings, and can empower you to respond mindfully. When we are mindful, we recognize that we are not our experiences. We are not what people may name us. We are not the judgment of others. We create ourselves. When we are mindful, we realize the importance of separation, observation, perspective. Being mindful can help us to respond rather than knee-jerk react. Respond, take a moment, several moments, and decide that there is separation, and we choose how to react. And we choose how to respond. Let's take a simple memory now, something minor. It may be a simple outing with friends or an occasion, something that doesn't have too much overwhelm. This memory is not traumatizing. Imagine seeing the memory differently. Imagine being the eagle looking down upon the memory. The memory is on the ground, like grass on a hill, and you are the eagle. With perspective, with the eagle's eye, the ability to see clearly. You look down upon the experience and see it differently. You may choose to balance the way you see the memory. You may focus on any humour. You may minimize any possible frustration. Play or shift your way of seeing this memory. Do so deliberately. Train your mind. Now take a moment to think about a recent intrusive thought. Gently aim to identify this thought clearly. It might be something like, I will lose my job. I will never finish this course. This person will leave me. I'm hopeless, unlovable. There is a pattern of repetitive thinking. Name this pattern and disempower it. See a separation. Once we do so, we can start to identify the character of this thought or pattern of thinking. A set of thoughts. Once we do so, we may be able to identify that we tend to think these thoughts in a particular environment. There may be a particular trigger. It may be a similar set of circumstances. Almost like having a microchip implanted in our mind, we suddenly become a robot reacting to this trigger. We are not hopeless. We are not worthless. We decide who we are. Nobody tells us who we are. Nobody tells you who you are. They do not have that power. I understand that there can be experiences in life where our confidence can be eroded as a result of being in the space of another person who lacks ethics. I understand that. The only way through is to recognize we have 3 choices with thoughts. Accept, change, withdraw. We are not responsible for the behaviour of another. We are responsible for our own behaviour. We can take small steps. See intrusive thought as separate from who you are. This practice, and it is a practice, is key to cultivating awareness and understanding. Relax, release your body. Relax around your eyes, nose, jaw, cheeks, neck, front of each shoulder, middle of each shoulder, back of each shoulder, lower back, upper legs, lower legs. Techniques for cognitive diffusion. Now let's explore some simple techniques to practice cognitive diffusion, like Sarah has learned. Step 1. Mindfulness. Begin a mindfulness experience by choosing to sit or lie down quietly. Focus on breath, notice thoughts, and employ a visualization. It may be imagining thoughts as leaves in a stream. It may be imagining thoughts as balloons, and you slowly release the balloon and it floats away. It may be imagining you are a hawk and you look down on thought, or perhaps you have another image in mind. Just observe. Step 2. Thought labeling. When a thought arises, gently label it as just a thought. That's just a thought. This can help create distance from its emotional weight. Distance, disempowering this thought from becoming glue. The thought is not glue. We think the thought is glue. We think the thought is us. It's not. We have internalized thoughts in certain ways, perhaps due to the way we were brought up, or perhaps we've had certain traumatic experiences, or events have occurred. We choose how to internalize thought, and we can choose other ways to see thought, to observe thought. We become the gentle spectator. Step 3, visualization techniques. Imagine your thoughts as clouds or leaves or balloons, drifting in the sky, floating in the stream. Remind yourself that they are temporary. As painful as thinking may be, as painful as a memory may be, it is transient. It does end. It is temporary. Acceptance, the ability to accept, is a key component of cognitive diffusion. acknowledging that intrusive thoughts are a part of being human. This can diminish their power. It is a skill. It requires learning. It requires practice. So we need to go easy on ourselves. We need to demonstrate compassion for self, kindness for self. The foundation of kindness and compassion for self, this can germinate the seed of letting go. Let's now imagine another story. I'm going to tell another story. A friend of mine once struggled with constant thoughts of failure. Through cognitive diffusion, she learned to observe her thoughts without getting caught up in them, stuck in the washing machine. Consider integrating these techniques we have discussed into your daily routine. Routine and ritual is really important here. As humans, we like what is familiar. We like to repeat in most situations. Remember to practice gently, with compassion towards yourself. See this as a practice. Just like learning the piano or a similar practice, it requires constant repetition, softly and gently. Remember that addressing intrusive thoughts and overthinking is vital for our mental well-being. Understanding cognitive fusion and practicing cognitive diffusion empowers us to reclaim our minds and find mindful freedom. Come back to the body now and relax the body. Broaden the rib cage, soften the area of the belly, soften the eyes, the cheeks, the jaw, and sit in the space between the words, almost as if you don't need these words. You are content in the space between the words. You recognize the space between I and think. You recognize an intrusive thought. Just because you've had an experience once doesn't mean it will reoccur. The judgment of others is not relevant to who we are. The labels others may give us is not relevant to who we are. We can change, we can grow, we can reframe, redirect our minds. We are not our thoughts. We are the one doing the thinking. Imagine now that you're on the beach, you're standing on the beach, and you have a stick in your hand and you draw a line in the sand. You stand on one side of the line. You take pebbles, possibly shells, and put these on the other side of the line. You have drawn the line in the sand. You are not the shells, you are not the pebbles of thoughts and feeling. There is a separation. You can cognitively diffuse. You can stop the process of cognitive fusion. Your thoughts are not glued to you. Relax arms, legs, arms, hands, feet, eyes, jaw, back of the head, finger, tips, toes, soles of the feet, spine, lower back, middle back, upper back, neck. Relax, release. Relax, release. Relax, release. Relax arms, legs, arms, hands, feet, eyes, jaw, back of the head, finger, tips, toes, soles of the feet, spine, lower back, middle back, upper back, neck. Relax, release. Relax, release.